Working on the third challenge for sort and reverse, we're told in the code cell below, complete the following. First, sort the list stored in random list and save it in a variable called sorted list. So let's go ahead and do that. We have this random list that's given to us, and we're actually told, right, we want to save this as sorted list so we can use our assignment there. And here we just want to use the sorted function, and it's our random list that we want to sort. The second bullet point says to reverse the list stored in backwards list and store it in a variable called forwards list. So let's first forward list is equal to, and what we want to do is here, right, we want to use the reversed function and we want to reverse that backwards list. But as the lesson mentions, whenever we use the reversed, right, the type of object from a reversed function is not a list. Let's go ahead and jump over to VS Code and the terminal and just take a look at this, clear out what I've got here. But let's say I have got a list that's going to be a list, and then we'll just make a list from 1 to 100 going by threes. And then what we wanted to do is say my reverse list is equal to reversed my list, and then let's print the type of my reverse list, add an empty line at the back. Then over in the terminal, let's Python, and this is delme.py, right? This class, this data type for this object that's returned by the reversed function is a list reverse iterator, right? But we're actually not looking for a reverse iterator, right? It says we want to store it as a list, right? Reverse the list stored in backwards list and store it in a variable called forward list. So what we need to do, right, is we actually just need to cast this as a list. If we do that, go ahead and execute this now. Now I can see it's a list. It's my preferred data type, so I should be in good shape. And then lastly, for the final bullet point, it says sort, and then reverse the list stored in all scrambled up and store that in unscrambled. So unscrambled is equal to sorted, and we want to all scrambled up, right? And it says it wants it in reverse, right? And certainly we could nest a reversed function in here and a list function, right? I could sort it and then out here, right, have reversed that sorted list, and excuse me. And then finally cast this to a list. I think this will work. Let's give this a try before we do it a little bit more eloquently. It doesn't like that. It says invalid syntax. That means that I likely just have one too many parentheses here. It doesn't like this. It says I've got a list. Oh, you know, I talked about it over there in VS Code and I never added it over here. Right? So this works, but there's a much more elegant way to do this, right? What I could do is I could use this sorted function, and I can sort my all scrambled up, but I can simply say reverse equals true. And right, I have this second optional parameter that I can use, and I can just sort this in descending order or in reverse order, just with a single extra optional parameter instead of having to use all of those nested extra functions. We go ahead and run this. Hopefully we'll see that it is correct, and we see that this also works as correct, right? And we can see that we do have this other possible solution. So That's it for this lesson. The next lesson, we're going to talk about the max and min functions, and then we're about halfway through these list functions and methods. This is really important stuff for the interview, so I look forward to seeing you in the next couple of videos.